So in this video, I just want to go over a little bit more about methods. Now I know I've covered a couple of methods in previous videos, but I want to go into a little bit more depth and start incorporating some of the attributes into the methods. So if we were making a text-based adventure game, which is one of the challenges that we'll do, there's loads of scenarios where we're going to want methods for our characters. So for example, we might want a method where we can add an item to our bag. We might want a method for increasing health. We might want a method for taking damage, etc, etc. There are hundreds. So I'll go through those three examples now just to show you three different methods you might want to make. So let's go for the simplest one first, which would be healing. So we'll call it heal. Now we've got to be careful of not using the same names as attributes. So I've already got a health attribute, so I'm going to call this heal. And by default, I need to make sure it includes self, but then I'm going to pass it a number as well, because the number is going to be how much I'm healing by. So when I've done that, this would be really straightforward. So I could output messages and things, but I'm just going to do self.health plus equals num. So whatever I've passed to heal, I'll be able to do self.health plus equals num, and it will add the number to that instance's health. So if, for example, during my story, I come across a pack or something, I'm going to want to print, just to show it working, hero.health. I'm going to print that out twice. And then in the middle, I'm going to add to my health. So if during my game at some point I want to heal, I can just do hero.heal, and then I can pass it a number. So when I run that, you can see my health originally was 100 on line 18. Then I healed, and then when I printed it out on line 20, you can see my health has increased to 120. But bear in mind, that's only increasing the health of the hero, not any other characters we've made with this class. So hopefully you're starting to understand why object oriented can be really powerful here, because we can make as many objects as we wanted, and they can all act differently and independently throughout the program. So that's one example. The other two I said were damage and adding to bags. So let's do damage. Now damage we might want to do slightly differently, because we might want to start incorporating the fact that we've got an alive variable in here as well. So we might want here, keep it the same at this point, pass it a number. We want to take the damage off the health. So this is again just minus equals num, so exactly the same as heal. However, here it might be prevalent to put like a question in just to check my health hasn't gone below 0, because we could say if health is less than 0, or probably less than or equal to 0 at this point, then I might want to change my alive value, so self.alive, and change that to false. So at that point, as I'm taking damage, it will also do that check for me every time I take some damage. So again, here, let's go for the hero health, but at this point, instead of healing, we're going to say at this point in the story, I want to take some damage. Then I can take the damage off, and when I run it, you can see the health has gone from 100 to 80. Now bear in mind, you can pass anything you want in here. So let's say you're fighting another character in your game. Let's say I'm fighting the villain. It might be that I want to pass over the villain's power as the amount of damage that my character is going to take. So in that case, I would do villain.power instead of a number. So the hero is going to take damage, and it's going to take the power of the villain as damage, which I think is 20. Look, so if I change that to 70, we should see it go from 100 down to 30. Look. Okay, so that's an example of two methods. We'll just do the last one, which is the appending the item. So we could say def add item, and we're going to pass it an item, and then we're going to say if you don't have to do this, you could just do a simple bag.append, but you could do to check it's not in the bag already. So if item is already in the bag, then you might want to print you already have this item, else, and then we could do this self.bag.append. Now you could go further in here. You could have an if statement dealing with capacity, you know, and you could have another method like drop item or something like this, or display bag you could have, so that it can run and it can show you all the items in the bag. You could then potentially choose one to drop and things like that. So you could go much further, but on a very simple level, check if you've already got the item, and if you have output that you can't pick it up or something, otherwise append it to your bag. So then if we go down here, so let's print out the hero's bag. And then let's work out here. So let's say during my story I come across something. So I've already got our key in my bag. So let's do hero.add item, and let's just test it out with a key. Make sure I've capitalized it, because it will treat a lowercase key as a different word. So when I run it, sorry, it says bag is not defined. I should have put self.bag there. Then when I run it, it says key, you already have this item, so my bag still stays as that. I could obviously change this to anything. So I could do sword. And then you can see I've now got an additional item in my bag. So you'll see later on how something like this might become quite useful in a text-based adventure. I find that taking this text-based adventure approach is actually a really good way to start learning object-oriented. And by the time you've built a mini game, you've got a really good grasp of attributes, methods, class attributes, all the sort of key fundamentals that you need.